This video is going to be a very brief overview of the Forethought platform on the Eduforest system. Now again, don't be overwhelmed by how quick this moves, but we're just going to go through the basic process of how you start your year in Forethought by setting up your lesson planner, how you can go through and create team planners, and then showing you some of the district resources, and then showing you how you can save yourself a lot of time by learning two big things: Control C, Control V. So the first thing is I've logged into a regular teacher account on Eduforia, and I'm going to go to the Forethought application. Now, if you've already set up a planner or you had a planner in from last year, this first screen is, of course, going to look a little bit different because you won't actually be creating a new schedule yet. You'll have to go in and edit the one that you have. So right now, we're in the process of creating a new schedule. So in the bottom right, we're going to click Next. And when you give your schedule a title, you always want to make sure that it ensures that the schedule is individualized to you. So don't just put second grade because we have a lot of second grade teachers across the district. Make sure that it's individual to you. If you know somebody has the same last name, use initials, however you want to do it. But again, this way your administrators can go through, and when they're viewing lesson plans, they know specifically that they're looking at yours. Click Next at the bottom right once you title it. Now we're going to add entries, which is actually your courses. So when we add entries, we always do the course with learning standards. This is what's going to pull in all of our standards, our TEKS. Click Next at the bottom right. Select the appropriate grade level, and then select the appropriate course. Now, if you're an elementary teacher and you're self-contained, you're going to have to go through and select each of your core contents to add them to your schedule. If you're a secondary teacher, maybe you are fortunate enough to have only one prep, you may only have to do one entry. But it's very easy. If you need to add additional entries, just do the same thing. Add additional entry, course with learning standards, and add all the pieces that you need. Now you notice I'm just leaving the titles of the courses the same. You can change those if you want, but this matches what's in the system for Eduforia, so I just leave them the same. One thing for elementary teachers, as you get your core content pieces pulled in, that you may want to remember: the order in which these courses appear here is the order in which they will appear on your schedule or on your lesson plans when you print them out. So they're going to be one on top of the other. So if you want to place this in the same order as your daily schedule, you can simply take those courses and move them up or down with the move up, move down options until they're in the right order. Once you have all of your entries in, we're going to click Next. And now we've created our schedule. It's asking if we want to create another schedule. We don't need to because we don't run like a block schedule or an A-B type schedule. So the one schedule is just fine. Once we have the schedule in, we're going to click No and begin using Forethought. Now this is your main navigation window. A couple things you'll notice right off the bat is I have some days on here that are in bold. So in this top calendar, you can go through and click on any day where you want to create your lesson plans. Once a day is in bold, it means that it's holding on to that date because a lesson plan or someone has clicked in there and there's a lesson plan entered. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's any information that's been placed in there. So right now, this is actually holding on to an old lesson plan. What I want to do is delete this old lesson plan and use the new lesson plan that we just created, the new schedule. So I'm going to go in, click this drop down, and to delete today's plans. Once this happens, here is now my default plans based on the schedule just created. Now you notice underneath each entry or course, I have these 5 pieces that are the district non-negotiables for lesson plan templates. Now every campus may be a little bit different on what is expected as far as the lesson plan template, but these pieces appear on any lesson plans regardless across the district. Now if you want to use this and you want to type into Eduforia, you can directly into this screen. If you want to create a template in an outside document, such as a Word document or in Google Docs that you can share across with your grade level or team, and then bring those lesson plans into Forethought, you can do that as well. A lot of times, though, what happens if you copy and paste those in, it's going to append them to the bottom of this current template. So if you want to get rid of this template and leave it blank, or if you want to change it to your own personal template so that it shows up each and every day when you go to enter lessons, you can make those changes. So for example, I like to leave mine blank, and I like to bring my template in with my Word documents. So you can see here, I've just simply deleted that template. And now I'm going to go up to this top right wrench icon, and I'm going to set this as my default text for entry. That means from this day forward, as long as there's no entries already in, that this will be my default text for entry or my default template for my English Language Arts course in this case. Once you have your default text for entry set, the rest of the navigation is fairly simple, so we'll run through just a few basic things. Over here on the left, you see that there are currently two planners. The one that's in the tan color is the My Lesson Planner. This is your individual or personal lesson planner. If you've been set up with a team planner or you are planning on creating a team planner, it will show up in gray. Now, the team planner allows you to work in the same planner if you're working across a grade level or if you're working through a subject level team. Everybody can work and build lesson plans in the same template. What then happens is you take those lesson plans and you pull them or copy them into your individual lesson planner so you can make the differentiations needed for your specific class. You cannot take lessons from your personal or My Lesson Planner and place them easily into the team planner. They can only go from team planner back to individual planner. So that's going to be one of those key pieces as you get used to this process. Over here on the right is our main curriculum pane. As you can see, on every grade level and subject area, it all starts with the district resources. Under district resources, you will see your year at a glance, as along with a few other documents. When you click on it, you notice nothing opens up. What happens is in your bottom right window under resources, you can see here's the second grade science YAG. So right now I've brought up the science curriculum. Once you click this, it brings up a new pop-up window. One of the biggest things with Eduphoria is, one, you want to make sure that you're accessing the program in Google Chrome. Eduphoria does not play nice with Internet Explorer. So with most other systems or platforms, it works extremely well, but it prefers to be on something like Google Chrome. The other thing is, if you don't see this, this is a pop-up window. So a lot of times you may have to enable pop-up or disable your pop-up blocker so you can have these resources come up. And this here, you'll see it says T attachments below. Most of the district resources are attached as PDFs, and they're at the bottom of this window. Double click, and then you have access to your year at a glance. This is how you'll find all of your unit guides, your pacing guides as well. Again, and those are housed under each 6-week grading period. So here's Unit 1 pacing guide. Double click the resource, and there's your Unit 1 pacing guide. So all your district resources are housed inside of Forethought, so when you're planning your units, it's very quick to access. Also underneath each one of the individual 6-week folders, you'll see that they have a drop-down for Unit 1, and this actually has a bundle for your standards that are to be taught during that unit. So if we're planning our science piece and we want to begin by adding our TEKS, all you have to do is, once you are over here in the curriculum pane, if you double click a standard, it's going to drop it right into your lesson plan. The reason we do this is because the system will actually keep up with when you have taught your individual standards, and it's a great way to go through. So as you go throughout the course of the year, if you want to know if you've taught that standard, at the bottom right of the screen there's an icon that looks like a scroll, which is your history. And you see right now I have not yet taught this learning standard. But as you go through the course of the year and you've consistently pulled in your standards to your lesson plans, you'll begin to see when you taught those. You also have this option at top to print and see a full layout of when the individual standards were taught over the course of the year. So it's a great way to go through and track when the standards were taught, to make sure you've covered all the necessary materials for the year to have your students ready for the next grade level or the state assessments if you're in state tested level. So that's a lot about the curriculum pane. Now they also provide you resources such as your knowledge and skills statement that goes along with the associated text statement. We have those there written out. You also notice the color scheme, blue being process, green being readiness, yellow being supporting standards. That's colored just like the lead forward documents. So that's also been done for you as well. Again, as you want to pull down the additional 6-week periods, it's just the simple plus minus, and that way it's very simple to look at instead of a full list of standards. The other big piece now is going to be entering your actual lesson plan. Now again, you can come in and type your lesson plan just like a standard Word document. A lot of the functions are exactly the same. You can see across the top, very basic functionality. Your standard hotkeys work for underlining, italicized, bolding, etc. For me, I'm more comfortable working inside of Microsoft Word or in a Google Docs. It's easier for me to print. I personally like the functionality of Microsoft Word. It's easier for me to go ahead and format the way it's comfortable for me to view. And what's great is once you have it in Word, or if you have previous lesson plans that you've created in Word or in Google Docs, all you have to do is to copy and paste is simply highlight, and you have to know the control C, which is a hotkey for copy, and then you simply go back into Eduphoria and you would do a control V. You notice all of the formatting is in place. It's in the same font. It's even kept my bullets and bolding. So everything will come from your Word document, from your Google Doc, straight into Eduphoria with very little loss of formatting. It does have some issues when it comes to entering images. If you're going to place images within your lesson plans, you will have to add those with the insert image option. But for the most part, it even imports tables pretty well and does a good job of keeping your formatting if you work in an outside document. Again, for me, working with a team, if you have a shared drive on Google through the Waco ISD account, it's a great way to just build those lesson plans, share them, and then you copy and paste them for submission to your appraiser. You can also add attachments. So if you wanted to simply attach your file, you can do that as well. What's great about that is then if it isn't a team planner, you're sharing this lesson plan with your group, they're also going to have access to any attachments you place in here. And then as you go into your next year of teaching, if all of this information has been placed into your individual planner, you will actually have access to the previous year's lesson plans as you move along. So again, really great resource, really simple to use. If you ever find yourself having to retype any items, you need to stop. You should be able to copy and paste just about anything from any resource straight into Eduphoria, so you shouldn't have to be retyping any information you've already laid out. The final piece that we'll kind of talk about briefly is once you've built your individual planner, a lot of us are going to plan in teams. Now, a team planner is very simple. We're going to create a new team. You're going to use the bottom right, navigate the team wizard. You give yourself a team name, so second grade. Next at the bottom right, you're going to add individual team members. Now the creator of the team is basically in control of if that team is ever to be deleted. They're the only ones that can go through and remove all members and delete the team. So if you happen to be the creator of a team planner, just realize that when others need to be removed or added, you'll be the one doing that. You can go through and add members and simply search by email address. Adding to, and again, adding, removing is very simple to simply add or remove members. Once you have all your members set for the team, you're going to add courses. Now this is the important piece. You have to make sure that if you're going to work back and forth and remove things from the team planner and copy them into your individual planner, your courses must match. So you have to make sure that if it was a second grade team planner, that you have those same second grade courses that you had in your individual planner. Otherwise, they won't copy back and forth. So as you go through again, you would select those same courses like we did before. Once all of those are in, we click next. You're now done. And you can see I've built a new team planner. Once you have the team planner, the process of copying over is as easy as if you go to the View Weeks Plans, it brings up the option for the copy wizard. Copy to My Planner takes these lesson plans into your personal planner. You can copy by day. You can copy an entire week if you've placed an entire week's lesson plans. Simply follow along with the instructions. We want to copy this day, and we want to copy it to this day in my personal planner. It's going to make sure that you're copying the right things. You hit finish, and now it's moved those lesson plans into my individual planner. So again, great way to collaborate with team members, great way to be more efficient, but ultimately, even after you have the plans in a team planner, you want to pull them into your individual planner so you can differentiate your instruction for your students in your classroom.